Jill through my Instagram. Actually, when I was still in Florida, I followed her through her transformation, and we met when I came to San Diego, and she has an amazing story. So she's just gonna kind of talk about her transformation for the next few minutes. Do you want to do
put it on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is Jill's transformation picture.
Woo! So I promised you guys I got it to a tight 7 minutes, so I know it's been a long morning, a lot of information to soak up, but about 18 months ago, I found myself 100 pounds overweight, and I didn't really know how to, I'm an analyst, I'm a finance manager by trade, I work in corporate finance, and I didn't know how to connect the emotional part of what I've been through with my analytical part of what I like to focus on. But last night I was going through my closet, and I found a pair of my old suit pants from when I was a finance manager, and so just a visual, representation of where I was 18 months ago. And and really, the importance of these pants is not the size difference. It was the person that was in these pants, the representation of the stress of my job and what I was going through. This person was overwhelmed, couldn't manage her life. My job was incredibly stressful. Everybody needed me. My husband needed me, my children needed me, my employees needed me, my manager needed me, and I was taking care of everybody, and nobody was taking care of me. And I was really resentful. I was very resentful to everybody in my life because I felt empty. I felt like I was giving and giving and giving and not getting anything back. On top of that, I was showing all classic signs of insulin resistance, and I'll get into that, but my daily routine was this. I'd get out of bed and put my feet on the ground, and I'd have sharp pain shooting through my feet, and then I'd try to walk to the bathroom, and I'd walk on the side of my foot to the bathroom, and in about 20 minutes, my feet would warm up, but the thing was I had plantar fasciitis. I had severe plantar fasciitis that I had gotten when I was pregnant 5 years prior, and I was dealing with this for 5 years. And so plantar fasciitis is where the band on the bottom of your foot gets real inflamed, and anytime you put the weight back on it and try to walk, it's severely painful because it's a tendon, it's a band, and it's just a physical reminder of the weight that I had on myself. So I would do this, I'd have this foot pain, and then I'd start my job, and I'd drink diet soda, and I'd drink energy drinks and fast food, anything I could to really concentrate on my job, to get focused and do this. And then the afternoon, my family would come home, my kids would come home, my husband would come home, and I'd be exhausted, and I'd be completely disengaged from my family. I was, like I said, I was resentful for the stress that I had. I was the primary breadwinner in the house. I made about 50% more than my husband, so the emotional stress of having to keep that job was a lot. And then at night, I would be so anxious about the next day that I would drink, a couple glasses of wine or several beers. I liked IPA quite a bit, so. And then I would fall asleep, and I could sleep till about 1 or 3 in the morning, and then I would be wide awake. Just awake. And then I'd be awake till it was time to get up, and then I'd be exhausted, could barely get out of bed, and then I'd put my feet on the ground, and my feet would be in pain. And this was my day, over and over and over, every single day. And I was miserable, and I was overwhelmed, and I couldn't manage any of it. And so I found myself at a weight loss clinic 18 months ago, and basically it's a medically supervised weight loss clinic and through scripts, and what they do is basically put you on calorie restriction, a low-fat diet. And for me, I lost about 20 pounds in 5 months, but mostly because I cut out most of my alcohol was really the change I made in that step. And I still was having all of my foot pain. I was still having, not being able to sleep at night. I had cloudy urine, which is a sign of prediabetes. And so I said, I can't take this anymore. The only way I'm gonna get out of this pain in my feet is to lose the weight. I just need to buckle down and do this. So November of 2016, I started Googling Atkins, because I'd done Atkins before and low carb had worked here and there for me. And what came up was keto, a ketogenic diet. And so I read a book called Keto Clarity by Jimmy Moore and Dr. Jason Fung, and that book changed everything. It really changed everything for me because they, like we've talked about in these sessions, that insulin is a hormone that keeps fat on your body, and leptin and ghrelin are satiety and hunger hormones, and you can manage these things with the food that you're putting in your mouth, and that obesity is really a disease of hormones, and if I could manage my hormones, I could get my life back and I could feel better. And for me, it was really feeling better. So about a week or two before I went to Hawaii, I took a vacation to Hawaii, I started this, and I did keto through my vacation in Hawaii, and in 28 days I had lost 20 pounds, and in 6 weeks my plantar fasciitis was gone. In about 4 or 5 months I had lost 75 pounds, and so the 75 pounds on top of the 20 I had already lost, so it's about 95 pounds. And then slowly over time I've lost to get to about 100 pounds. But I really want to focus on what really was able to make me successful. And what made me successful was I decided to change. I decided to change who I was. I did not want to be miserable. I did not want to be overwhelmed. I wanted to interact with my family. I wanted to live my life. And I was a prisoner. I was a prisoner in my own body. So I really decided to take care of myself and decided this is not a diet, this is not me restricting myself, this is a lifestyle change, and this is what I'm choosing. So a little bit of statistics, because I like those, of me. My A1C went from 5.9 to 5.1. That was as of last year. I'm going to guess it's a little lower now, but I was having preventricular contractions. I was having heart contractions of 9%, which is the threshold of normal, and you go above that and then cardiologists start worrying about you. So I went from 9% to 1%. Plantar fasciitis gone, my athlete's foot that I've had forever was gone. Chronic yeast infections, sinus allergies, my sleep pattern was completely normal again. And the last thing that I'm most happy about, I'll save till after I read this quote for you. And this is really meaningful, and if you can kind of grab onto this, it might help you in your journey too. But this comes from Brian Williamson, who hosts a podcast called the Keto Evangelist Podcast. And this is his first episode, and he says, "Your why is your anchor. It's the thing that'll guide you through the often difficult journey of changing your body, mind, and lifestyle. If you don't have a solid, honest, relevant why in place, you're unlikely to stick to your plan. Chances are, you'll just let yourself go because you want that food to fill that void." So for me, my why, I can ride a bike with my kids, I can ice skate with my kids, I can go to an amusement park and not feel exhausted and not be able to walk the next day. I have not been able to do that in 8 years since I've had my kids. And I can interact and I can be fully engaged with them. This has changed my life. So that's my why, and I hope all of you think about your why as well.